Alright, what's going on, guys? One more, or maybe two more videos. This is a KRS talk. We got Russell Westbrook and the Knicks. I was so fucking pissed, but good job, Russell Westbrook. We had a 6-game winning streak. Good job, New York. Derrick Rose, you my nigga, bro. I probably say I'm just very hyped because Derrick Rose actually played his hardest out of every single game I've seen him play, including many games where he dropped 30 points. I say this because D Rose is definitely one of the best players that I can consider as a good person. But yeah, it's pretty good that I seeing the game. Russell Westbrook had really dominated a lot of people out of the Knicks. Um, and I really find it to think that D Rose is reaching his potential of coming back as a MVP body. As many people always want to hate on my boy D Rose, but I find it to be really just nowhere near to be bad with Derrick Rose because when you really think about it, the New York Knicks, like, we are playoff prone and we've been winning 6 games straight. Like, unfortunately, I don't have Wi-Fi, but I can look it up on my phone through data. Um, oh, sorry. I think we are probably over a 7th place. That's how I want to see it. But I do know that the Bulls, we are at 6. Probably New York is like maybe somewhere abouts. Oh, all right. The Bulls, we are at 3rd, and as well as New York, they are at 8. Okay, that's pretty good. I really thought New York was gonna be lower than that. Oh, and actually, last game, New York lost the Hornets because I remember that because we were like we were doing pretty good, man. Because I was thinking right over television, they were saying that they were on a 6-game winning streak, but I think that was probably to like the Oklahoma City Thunder. Um, yeah, because the Thunder, they are 11 and 8, so that's not bad. A 6-seeder beating out the 8-seeder and that regular season brawl. I'm only really kind of concerned about the Bucks because it's really hit or miss with them this year, and I'd be surprised if Jabari Parker really worked on his game harder this season to try to beat us out. But I can't see that happening because Jabari Parker he just came back this year, but I really want him to just try his best so that way that won't be a type of problem for the Bulls or any other team that's trying to get to the finals. In which I just really just know that Chicago, we have been we have been putting in so much work this year, and I really have to say, Dwayne Wade, thank you for coming to the team, dude. I really do appreciate you being one of my favorite players and favorite rivals per se, because I've always thought of Dwayne Wade to become one of the more deadliest shooters out of all shooters. And it's just really funny, man. Like I like Dwayne Wade's game, and he produces the more volatile gameplay that you will never see out of a shooting guard forever. And I find it really funny because a lot of people try to say Dwayne Wade is washed up. He can't do the things that a lot of people say he can do. And because I don't find that to be real, man. Dwayne Wade, he's by far one of the best players out of all. Like basically the best shooting guard that you cannot deny. And I've always knew that from him because he never gives up on his game and he finds everything to become a good experience that he has gone through. See, now, when you really look at it with Dwayne Wade, his stats have been pretty high. From the very first year all the way up until his MVP year back in 2006, I think. But when you really think about it, Dwayne Wade, he won his title at like what, 25 or 24 years old, and I mean, this is the Dwayne Wade that we didn't expect coming in 2006. But then after years, after the Miami Heat has struggled, it came into a early brawl, and then LeBron James and CB or Chris Bosh came into Miami in 2011. Sorry, and then after that, they lost to the Mavs, in 2011, and then 2012 and 13 the Heat won. And I really have to say it's all because of Dwayne Wade, because when you really think about it, Dwayne Wade, like, he's a very strong player, and I was always pissed as seeing him on the Heat against my Bulls, and it's really funny of how Dwayne Wade, he can make a 2-pointer, but the 3-pointers, they're very just like irrelevant because he's not a 3-point shooter. We can all say that Dwayne Wade can't shoot threes, but I think with Dwayne Wade, him being as a much more older version, he can do it all if he's healthy. But if Dwayne Wade cannot maintain his game at a certain level, then my Bulls will be definitely bottom of 7. But I don't think so. You know, the Bulls have a really strong roster. The Knicks have a really strong roster. So with every season coming into play, I really do want to see Chicago and New York be those two teams that I predicted from the very past to say why I find D Rose and the Knicks to become good teams. Because I was saying it to another friend. Kristaps Porzingis is obviously going to become a star. And I see it right now. I see it with the top of my view to say, yo, this nigga, he's dropping 30 points. And if he keeps this up, guys, he's going to be averaging 25 points a game. And that's going to be more scarier for next year because it's like seeing Kevin Durant getting bigger basically looking at a white version of Kevin Durant mixed with probably Shaq. Even though he can still shoot good free throws. I'm not trying to make fun of Shaq, but no, I really do think that the Knicks have picked a really strong center, and at 7'3", like, you ought to think Kristaps would just kind of be bad, but a lot of 7'3" guys can't really do that, and I say this because like it's a very common to see out of a guy like JaVale McGee, who is one of the best picks in the fucking NBA. The best fucking pick. And then he was garbage when he went to the Denver. And I think he played with Chicago, but no, because I don't think so. But after that, when he transitioned, I think he went to the Wizards too. But no, JaVale McGee, he was washed up, bro. He was just like, yo, like, this is really fucked up for me. So obviously, because I haven't seen him in many games, so he's been doing more of like the TV biz and with like I think like the Kardashians or some other bullshit like black family drama. But no, I know JaVale. He's a very great player, and I think his time is now with the Warriors. Because when you really think about it, the Warriors, they are not playing around the season. Even though I don't think they could hit a 73-9, just because like the season's getting more bigger and the Warriors, they have a bigger chance of hitting second place, but the records can always differ because you still got the Spurs, you still got the Clippers, you still got all the other teams in the West that want to lower the Warriors' rankings down, so that way bigger teams in the West can try to pull up with them. And looking back at the rankings, just to get you guys fully get you guys like fully up to par. It's going to be a really good season with the Warriors because when you really think about it, actually they are in first place. Sorry. If the Warriors can still manage to have a good season, then the Lakers and the Jazz and the Thunder have to keep them down to basically keep their record, a semi-decent. So technically, I'm going to say the Spurs and the Clippers and the Rockets are going to be their biggest challengers. Because the Thunder, if they actually maintain their own throughout the rest of the games, then I'll have more respect for them because at least with that way, the Suns and the Wolves and the Pelicans with the Kings and Nuggets and Blazers will have a harder time trying to compete for better seedings. But that's the problem because the Lakers, they have a good team and they're at the 8th seed. And I was always saying to a friend, like, give D'Angelo Russell one more year. And he will dominate like the NBA. And I say this because it's a very competitive, season for the 8th spot, and I feel like a lot more guys in the NBA are more serious about winning. And I say this because the Timberwolves, even though that they're trash this year, that's just the very first year, and it needs to be like revolved around a little bit better because the Lakers cannot continue to become a bigger team over the Wolves. So if the Wolves can get their act together and know that Karl Anthony Towns is one of the better players to revolve a 2-point shot consistently, then I would put Wiggins at the 3, and then basically like inject Chris Dunn at the 2, and then I would keep Zach LaVine at the 1, and then you have Towns at the 5, and then some other guy at the 4. So that's my good roster right there, and I think it's probably due to the coaching this year. The coach is probably super terrible, like many other fucking coaches. The only coaches I've ever liked was Jeff Hornacek, and then Tom Thibodeau, and then definitely let the new coach Fred Hoiberg, which I actually found him to become trash at one point, but he's getting better, along with Luke Walton too. Sorry. So yeah, that's pretty good. And then Steve Kerr. Sorry. Yeah, there's some good coaches out there that actually want to win versus the ones that actually want to just shit on their team. Like I mean, coming from like the worst coaches that I've never liked was definitely Byron Scott and Mike Mike Brown, right? Or but you guys know who I'm talking about. Yeah, Mike Brown is a Lakers coach that thought he was going to help out the Lakers. And then I guess like Tyronn Lue, but Tyronn Lue helped the Cavs win a championship, or more so LeBron did it by himself. But it's kind of obvious to say that all these coaches are really trying to inject a lot more hardship to their players, and I can't really see so many coaches getting through all that hard work because it's just like, there's so many NBA players that want to say that they're going to make it up to the top, and they don't do anything about it. Which actually, it actually questions me about Ben Simmons, which I will explain in another video or two, of why the fuck he wasn't on any games lately. And come to think about it, I think it was due to the fact that he hurt his foot. Because I heard about that, and then I'm like, well, when is he coming back? And then they said like it would come back with like a recent update. So I'm not too sure what's going on with him. Especially like with him trying to post everything about him chilling with his crew. I mean, dude, you're like the number 1 pick, and you're not doing anything right for the team. You're just kind of making everybody work harder to keep the record good. And looking at the 76ers, yeah, you guys are really bad this year, 4-14. I can't really see Philly making any good progression because it's just going to be a more hardship for the team. But let me finalize it with Philly. Ben Simmons. Yeah. That's really what I've been seeing. But right now, it seems like looking at the recent updates, Ben Simmons is still predictable to come back. And it seems like most mainstreams are just talking the same thing of what I'm saying. It's like, when is he returning? When is he going to basically help out with the team? So I don't really see anything good with the Sixers because the Sixers have really been not putting in the work that we all wanted to see out of them, oh shit, to be honest, because I really blame it on the coach, and then mostly Jaleel, because I thought Jaleel Okafor was going to put in that work this year to try to get everything down, but but my whole view on how things could be with the Sixers is that it's going to be a hardship season with them, and I can't really see anything really good and progressive of how they could make this comeback in the season. But if you were to ask me how many years would it be to have the 76ers come back for a playoff run, I want to say at least like another year or 2 more years, because it seems like the 76ers they sign a lot of bad players, and like pretty much, especially with Gerald Henderson trying to put up most of the shots, along with Robert Covington and Sergio Rodriguez. Like, don't get me wrong, the Sixers, they're a really good team, but I just know for a fact that it's going to be really hard coming back after rebuilding with Joel Embiid and Jahlil Okafor. And like I said to another person or many other people, Jahlil Okafor needs to work on his post game more because it's going to be a much more harder battle to the rim. Because you can always tell me if Jahlil Okafor is a great player, but the problem with him is that he has a hard time keeping his defense, very very stable. And he can defend, but as far as his offensive ability to get everything down with whatchamacallit, his free throws, his rebounding, which is still tremendous. He's doing pretty good. Too bad I can't really pull up the data right now to get his stats, but no, it's pretty decent. Joel Embiid, he's starting to shoot more threes, and it's going to become a really big time to be given the chance to come back to the playoffs. And I find it very funny because we all think that the Sixers are not that good of a team, but with every team comes back in a playoff run later. So how I see it with the Sixers is that it's going to be a really hard few years for them to make a big, strong impact in the NBA. But if you were to ask me what would their playoff team look like, it would definitely be Joel Embiid because he really wants to win. He really wants to prove to the NBA why he's the best player ever. And it's going to basically light up the whole crew, along with him, Jahlil Okafor, and many other players that want to get that chip or ring or basically prove something in the spot for the playoffs. So yeah, we're gonna have to find out. It's gonna be pretty competitive, and that's pretty much it for the video. Be sure to like, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I will make another one or a few more, and then back to the game. All right, bye.